to look particularly at the base. And so those can be pretty large samples that we also just carry in sort of the manipulator at the end.
Yeah. Thinking about some of the sponges that are kind of like football size, you know, some of those kind of things. The tube worm was 13 feet long.
Yeah.
So that was real serious.
But it was really just the tube of the tube worm.
Yes. Oh, what's coral? To the follow-up question that may be on your minds and has come in a few times, you know, could we catch one of these fish?
We've caught fish before, small ones.
Yeah.
With the slurp. Or we used to have something called a D-sampler. It was kind of like one of the slurp sample jars, but you held it in the manipulator and the top and bottom rotated off at the same time. So you can kind of use it to, I don't know, almost net a fish. And then quickly close the top and bottom.
Our colleagues at MBARI, the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, have some midwater canisters kind of like that, sort of similar. Think of a clear acrylic giant Niskin bottle where the same concept, the caps.
I've seen some cool open. Like origami ones. Yeah.
Kind of fold all around and in. This would be, you'd have to move fast to get a sablefish.
When we get Hercules back on deck and we can turn the multi-beam back on, if we're still here, we can take a look at what it looks like and have an idea of what it looks like with the camera.
It'd be pretty unique. You know, in your surveys, you're usually not then immediately deploying an in-water vehicle to take a look in ground truth what you mapped over. Cool opportunity. Nicole, question, when we collect our samples, how do we account for the temperature and pressure of where we collect them and then how we raise them back up?
Yeah, unfortunately, they go through all of those changes. Okay. Temperature, we can conserve a little bit. The bio boxes and the slurp sampler will conserve the water in which it contained at the seafloor, so those are sealed off. But pressure will affect everything on the way up, you know.
Okay, so I think we've hit our time limit here.
Okay, so we could get set up for recovery. Good job, everyone. Yeah, it's a successful dive.
Okay, Randy, bring your heading around to the, get your wraps at 0. Should be the ship's heading.
Sure.
Vessel all stop. Do you want a different vessel heading for recovery or wait till we get to the surface?
They can keep their heading as long as they can go out on that heading at 0.3 or as we come up. Yeah,
I think they won't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Bridge nav, come to all stop. We're going to start ascent for recovery.
Bring your heading around, Randy.
Oh, around? The other way around?
Thank you.
Well, you know where you got to go, right? You got to go to the ship's heading, and you should be at 0 turns if the counter is set correctly.
Yeah.
Right?
If I'm not wrong, it's about 50 degrees. Is that correct? Ship heading?
Yeah.
All right.
That's actually putting the turn in for me, so I got to go the other way. Okay.
Okay.
You carry on.
Yeah. Roger.
So for people who have been watching, join us again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Pacific time, or watch Mapping Overnight if you like to see the seafloor get revealed through acoustics. So we'll be mapping overnight to Culm Ridge area, which is just north of here, and then deploying the ROVs. Culm Ridge? It's K-U-L-M.
Culm.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like Plum Ridge. I heard all those letters wrong. Sorry. Go ahead.
The masks, no.
Culm. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll be diving 8 a.m. Pacific tomorrow to 8 p.m. Pacific. So we hope you can join us. It will be hopefully another spectacular dive like this.
Absolutely. The live stream will continue tonight through the vehicle recovery, and we'll let you get an eye in on sample processing in the wet lab. But then we'll be back with Q&A when the dives launch, RV launches again.
All right, we're off bottom.
Yeah. Pulling in whenever you're ready, Mike.
Yeah, so you want to wait till we get that delta relieved, right? Because we want to come up at around 0 delta. So you just wait for me to get there.
Roger.
And you can see in the tether cameras, right? See these two cameras?
Yeah.
See the tether start to come together.
Oh. My heading just went off for a while.
Yeah, you can turn that auto heading off.
All right.
That's just me. That's just her pulling on it.
Or pulling on me.
All right, start coming up, Rendine.
Okay, Roger, holding in.
Let you know what we're doing here. Right now I'm at 10 meters a minute.
Okay, aiming for 10.
Someone curious if the crab in the slurp jar has eaten all the clams by now. We hope not. We'll find out, and we'll keep the camera on in the wet lab so you can see too.
11 meters per
minute. Those clams, do those crabs eat those clams? Do you know?
We're going to hope not, because we put them in a bio box near each other.
Yep.
So we think they should be fine.
It's not going to eat all of them.
Yeah, it will just eat a few, and it hopefully won't eat all the tissue, so I can still sample some of the tissue.
Sharing.
You know,
that's good.
Sea creatures eat sea creatures. It happens. We try to avoid that, but...
Oh, I like this. Someone was thinking about your research, Randy, and thinking about ROV impacts on the fauna. And they're wondering if you've deployed static cameras and see what goes by. Everywhere in the deep sea, all the species we'd be considering the impacts live in the total darkness. So you would need to bring some light along in order to see who's there. But there are a variety of underwater cameras. Have you worked with any of those that are just kind of left in place and taking stills?
Yeah. One thing we use in the lab is, so there's a lot of options. You can either go on the camera route, or you can also play with the lighting. And one interesting thing to use is actually a red light or infrared light, because it doesn't travel that far, and most deep sea creatures couldn't detect like red light. However, it only has a distance of around 2 meters, so you can basically see what's about 2 meters in front of you. The other option is just to use very dimmable LED lights, and also use these very sensitive deep sea cameras. One thing we have in the lab is actually very sensitive. You can crank up the ISO to around 300 or 400,000 ISO, I believe. And you can use a light as dim as a cell phone light, basically, with that kind of setup. But yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And many of the underwater cameras are also baited, so that helps attract things to your camera, but that also it biases the study of what you are going to capture on the camera by leaving bait there, and attracting animals to the presence. We, throughout the season, will be deploying the National Geographic drop cams created by their team, and we'll deploy those when we're mapping from the west coast of North America out to the Hawaiian Islands, and on a couple other expeditions along the way. And those are awesome. They bring a light and a still camera. Ooh, no, a video camera.
Fish, yeah.
But it also has bait on it, which is pretty cool.
Interesting.
Not really doing better than 10 here.
You can actually see fish in the Tritech sonar over here.
Yeah.
Which you can't see on the screen, but it's right there. Right in front of Herc.
Can you look around with the bubble camera, see if we can see the lanyard for the plate?
Oh, sure.
Over there, I'm looking.
This one?
Yeah, well, you know what I'm looking for? The little hand, come down again. I'm looking for the little bit of cord for the plate.
Oh.
See that?
Yeah,
a little bit of jute or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Come down a little tiny bit.
A little tiny bit. This one?
Yeah, no.
The
Keep
other way
it in the
around.
center.
Oh, okay.
Right by the hose. Zoom in there.
Zoom in.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, and just pan down a bit. Tilt down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not much help. Okay. Let's see if I can get that. Ugh. Oh, there it is.
See what you mean.
Tammy, can you zoom in on the Zeus? Okay, that's good.
I'll zoom in, Mike, on the bubble cam.
Watch the vehicles in the delta.
Yeah, roger.
Are you kidding? A little wide, Tammy. Okay, show me more of the front and the bubble camera, right? I want to see where the plate's going to come out.
Hold on.
Oh, I got to get my hose back. Keep watching the vehicle orientation. Don't watch this arm stuff, Randy.
Roger. Yeah, I'm looking at the delta depth. Bumping up to 15 meters a minute.
All right, now 16 meters a minute. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Check 1, check 2.
Although even with 15, you're still going faster.
Yeah. Check. So come up a bit faster, right? Don't want to see these in the negative.
Roger. Bring up to 17.
Yep. We're at 18.
18, roger.
So right now you want to go a bit faster, whatever you got to do to get this back.
Yeah.
Or 0, right?
Yeah.
Randy, can you write in there in your log?
Sure.
That the Z bias, that the vehicle's seems a bit heavy. The Z bias was at 16, 15, 16. And the basket needs love. A couple more bolts to hold it down or something. It's pretty flimsy getting the gas tights off, remember?
Roger.
So that should go in the defect log, in
Okay.
the dive plan thing, right?
Yeah.
What's your plan to remedy that?
Start moving the ship.
Hey, Mike and Randy, question from the viewers about how much work and maintenance needs to be done after a dive.
Yep.
You know? What can you talk
Bridge
us
nav.
through that?
Can we begin moving at 0.3 knots at our current heading for recovery? Thank you. Okay, so vessel is starting to move 0.3 knots on our current heading. Nav here. Yes, I'll let you know. You want to? That's kind of on our bridge. Asked if give a heads up with 15 minutes to go on recovery of when we're going to recover to deck. And I think that's kind of in our. Okay. So. Okay. So that just did. Ask if the captain. Okay.
We'll switch to the recover salvo.
Hasn't really moved. Okay. Bridge nav. We are roughly 15 minutes from the vessel, from the vehicles being on the surface. Can you confirm that tanks are secure and enable air tuggers, and is the captain on the bridge?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Nav here. Thank you. Guess we can't really enable auto center on Argus, can we? So when we're at 50, check. Yep. Okay. Okay.
Michael is up. These guys are just on day shift now, see? These guys are just on day shift with this operating schedule. Yeah. No, he's 12 to 4. They're not getting up at night, so they're just hanging out all day. Oh yeah, you see this up here? I have to write it for us as a procedure to come in and like defiddle everything, because I don't, and then I get there and it's like an hour into the shift. I was like, oh, what's wrong with this? Why is this doing that?
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah?
Test the audio check.
Who this?
Who this? It's Megan calling you from the studio.
I can hear you.
Question came in for you about, you know, kind of what happens next? What do you need to do after a dive to get the vehicles turned around and ready to go? Do you or Randy want to talk us through that?
Yeah, they get on deck, and then we need to rinse them with salt with fresh water, and so we go ahead and rinse Argus off right away, and we wait for Herc to get the samples off first, so we don't contaminate anything. So then once the hold on, give them a minute.
Staff here. Bridge nav, you can adjust the heading more to port to be more advantageous for the vessel.
So Megan, they get rinsed off, and then we have to change the power supply from our high voltage supply that we use primarily for Herc's. What's that?
Bridge nav, understood. That's good. Bridge nav, can you adjust the bearing of the line that we're running right now to be that as well? Correct. Okay, so they ended up wanting it.
Yeah. Well, it's a big change pretty late, so we might just be holding at 50 till we get it lined up again. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I think we should have quartered it, but.
Let's change the video.
Okay. So that we'd be like, yeah. Yep. So this is the captain getting on the bridge, making an assessment and saying, yeah, we need to make a change. Okay. Okay.
We're through 100 meters. Think about hold them at 50 and let them go ahead until this gets lined up a bit better. Roger.
Over.
Main deck, we are going to hold position and readjust and wait on recovery.
Where's that radio?
Okay, give us a call back when you guys are ready. Stopping at 50.
I have to stop too.
Copy that.
At nav bridge.
Bridge, with nav.
Yeah, we're on a heading of 000, which is good for recovery. We're tracking ahead on that course at, what, 0.3 knots. So the bridge is good for recovery, over.
Roger, we are moving vehicles in position.
Should be the same.
Please continue with vessel heading and course speed.
On a Walt. depth.
Okay, just a question. Do you want us to keep tracking ahead or do you want us to hold position, over?
Continue tracking ahead at 0.3 knots on the 0 heading.
Okay, understood. Understood, thank you.
Depth, not altitude. Yeah. It's not really doing much. They're kind of coming around.
Hey, Mike, did you guys fire that launch recover salvo?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That did not do what I was expecting it to do. Okay.
Megan, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay. To finish answering your person's question,
Thanks
the
for coming.
vehicles come up and they get rinsed, and then we hook them up to our deck power, which is not nearly as much voltage as we put down the umbilical to run Herc's motor. So it's safer, and then we open all the bins and everything and get all the science off of there. Then we finish cleaning up the vehicles, and then we have a post-dive checklist. That's a part of it. We do water checks on all our hydraulic circuits, and then we secure our winch and all that. And that's pretty much all for post-dives. And then there are additional lists for pre-dives, so we have a post-dive evolution and then a pre-dive evolution, and it takes about 4 hours to turn the vehicles around.
Thank you. How much voltage do you put on it for deck test?
For a deck test, it's just like your house. It's just 120 volts. Everything is 120 or less. Most things are DC power, 24 volts or less. It's just the hydraulic motor for Herc requires a lot of juice.
If it'll run off of 120, can you explain why we need to send massive high voltage when we go down?
Yeah, for the hydraulic motor. So what powers the thrusters in the arms? You need a lot of power for that. Everything else on the sub that uses power is just lights and instruments. Lights have a bit more of a power budget, but most things are LED now and stuff like that. Most of these instruments are very, very low power consumption, but it's a lot of power to run the thrusters in the arm. Well, right now we are on the top side. We are 480 out of the box, and 40 amps, which is a lot per phase, and then we have to step that up, transform it to, well, it goes up to about 2,500 or so volts. Extremely high voltage. Yeah, I'm happy here.
Deck control van.
Go ahead.
We are good to recover.
Stand control van is good to go. Bridge main deck, are we okay to recover? Main deck bridge. Bridges go. Good, coming up.
I'm sure Megan will appreciate it if I'm on SPL rather than just talking to myself. It could be that we're fighting to get back, and so that's what's causing that. But it could be that we have a strong surface current. You can see right now it says our current is coming directly from behind. We'll see how true that is when we get up here. But for now, subsurface at 40 meters, he's doing pretty well. Around 15, 20 meters, we're going to lose USBL. So there's just a little blip where we don't.
Ready or camera?
We have our best
back,
estimate here, but as soon as we lose USBLs, we need to stop looking at the screen. It tells us lies. We then look at the cameras and the butt cams to and the compasses to make sure we're still kind of in line. So the compasses should be Argus facing the same as ship heading, Herc opposite. And the tether shouldn't be any weird way.
So I might hit him some auto, or I could ride it. So, but it changes super fast.
Yeah, I'm getting tossed off to port there pretty good.
Deep dive.
Yeah, so when we get to the surface, I think we will see. We'll request a heading change 20 degrees to starboard if. That's the first thing we'll do. I think they'll still be able to compensate well enough for that wind. But I'll just guide you through that there.
But some of our viewers have heard us train enough people that they could probably come out here and do the position.
Possible.
Yeah.
But it's a lot.
Thanks, though.
Megan, you could probably sit every position.
So he's full over lateral just to...
I like to try. We can play musical death.
Just by osmosis, okay. 9 years.
Yeah.
We're already reducing a little bit.
Yeah, Randy, you can kill your lights.
In waves there. See how our jet pump and bow thruster are reducing. I think it's because I was trying to fight back to a track line that...
Turning off thrusters.
It's trying to get back. It tried to go north here, but then it changed heading and drifted off, so it's trying to fight back that way.
6 on Herc.
They should just reset it and drive north.
Make it set to F8. Go to autos. Argus. Go. Took it slow brighter than autos.
So you see that we lost the fix there? That means that's no longer real. He's going to be quite a bit off to port.
Yeah. Oh, way over there.
Yeah. It's way over there. So let's have the ship hold position.
Let Mark know what's going on. He doesn't even see us.
Control van main deck. We've got I guess at about 45 degrees. Herc is way over on the port side. Can you guys lateral to your left at all?
Ship move.
Yeah, have the ship move 30 meters to ship port. So say copy, and then do
copy.
That. And then have the bridge do that.
Bridge nav.
Control, copy.
Talk to him.
Go ahead.
Bridge, can we get a 30 meters
to port.
Yeah, so then they're calling that.
Nav bridge, step 30 meters to port. Is that a heading change or a step, over?
Yeah, that'll be a step, and then we might have to change our heading to 020.
Okay, you want to step 30 meters bearing 270, is that correct?
Yes, 30 meters to ship's port.
Yeah, port beams 270, okay.
I don't know why the bridge is on me. Okay, just want to make sure I'm keeping it.
Okay, now bridge, we're going to stop tracking, go DP hold position, and then a step.
Turn the tilt motor off.
Copy that, copy that.
Is that correct?
Yeah, roger.
Is that tilt good, Mike?
What's that?
Is that tilt good enough?
I think so. You could probably try and get it a bit more.
Yeah.
It's hard to
see.
Hard to tell yet.
So this will alleviate some of that.
Yeah.
And then once we get that alleviated a bit, I think we'll adjust the ship's heading, because I think they can afford it a little bit. We were holding before at it, so we'll request it. And over here, we want to see if that's going right in at 90. So it's starting right now, but that's only really going to work if Mike's able to essentially hold position by full lateraling. If he's drifting with, then we're going to have to change heading and do something different. What was that, Ed? Yeah. It is, yeah. There's enough forces that are... It's actually just easing up on the thrust to get us to make that step.
Bridge, you're thrusting in the wrong direction. You got thrust coming out the port side.
Yeah, we copy that, Mark.
The input is correct. It's a DP. It's doing its thing, so yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not gaining ground on Argus, on Herc, though.
Yeah, I copy that too, but we must have current or something, but
yes.
The input is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bridge, this is the control van. If we could adjust our heading to 020, do you think we'll still be okay with the wind there?
Yeah, no problem with the wind on 020. So you want to hold position, stop that step and just make a turn?
No, we'll continue with that step and we'll just change the heading as we do it.
Roger that.
So that's a moment where the deck doesn't quite see, they're saying, oh, you're thrusting to starboard, that must mean you're moving in that direction, but that's not correct. We're holding and we're easing up on that thrust in order to get over there. So we got ourselves in a bit of a position by changing that heading late in the game to face directly into the wind because there was current coming from about 90. So after this step and heading change, I might see if the captain's amenable to doing manual mode thrust forward. I think the current's strong enough that it'll take us in the port direction. And as long as we're compensating enough for the wind forward, we'll be okay.
Herc, there any chance you could back down a little bit, give us a little slack in the tether, and then we can lift Argus on board?
Way more forces at play there than he sees.
Negative, Mark. There's too much forces, so we're still going to work it a little bit and get in a better position for that.
Roger that.
I don't want to bring it up and get the tether caught under the corner of the A-frame there.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, I was hoping that Herc could back down a little bit.
The thruster's going full tilt here, blowing it away, so.
It's the current,
yeah.
boys.
The economy.
I mean, I'm full of stern on it there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so our heading is about correct there. Yeah, I'm going to see, how do you feel about that? Just doing the...
Yeah, control van, just so you know, whatever you're doing is working. It's starting to open up a little bit, but it's still got a ways to go.
Yeah, copy that. That was a heading change, so we'll just, we're still moving left there. Or, sorry, to port.
Yeah, I don't want to end up with the sun in the pilot's eyes, though, either.
That's the least of my concern, Bob. We'll figure that out.
Hey. What about the pilot's eyesight? Might be damaging.
Right. The crane operator doesn't want to be facing the sun.
This is not, I'm not doing anything
okay.
like that.
Bridge, this is Nav. Are we able to go manual thrust forward to combat the wind, but we'll drift with the current?
And Nav Bridge, say again, please, somebody?
Turn that up. Yeah, we'd like to go into manual mode, full thrust forward to compensate for the wind, and hopefully we'll be drifting with the current then, which will alleviate that, that thruster pushing us in the wrong direction.
Okay, roger that. Coming off the DP and manual thrusting forward.
Copy. See what happens. So currently, we've got a little bit of the ship backing down, but I think that when we make this switch, hopefully we'll resolve, but be ready.
Okay, we are holding the heading with the bow thruster, and we are thrusting ahead now manually 60% on the jet pump.
Copy. All right, let's see what that ship does. But Mike, be prepared to dive if this goes haywire. Yeah. And I'll let the bridge know we need to winch down. So you see that will be taking the ship to port. That ought to help us, but it is, I think we need to increase our forward thrust more than 60. That's a strong current. But he should be coming towards you. So eventually we should both be drifting with this current.
Coming back a bit.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a little
Okay, it looks like Herc is slowly coming around.
Herc's not doing anything.
Copy that, copy that.
Yeah, this is way better.
Okay, Bob, we don't need...
Okay, now bridge, jet pump on 90%, full astern, and we're holding heading...
Full astern?
Copy that, full forward, 90%, and drifting with the current. This looks good.
Okay, good.
Herc, you're doing it.
A few more minutes and we'll recover, August.
Copy. Yeah, this is one of those situations where we got pretty much a 90-degree current to the wind.
Yeah, deck bridge, just give us a shout if you need us to reduce the thrust forward as you recover August.
I don't want to change anything.
I think we can get August on board with you thrusting like this.
Okay, roger that.
Okay, we're going to start bringing August up.
And we had a pretty good indication of that. But then once we started to mess with our heading and our bearing, it changed the current, the way that the current was reading like the whole time. So it gave us a false indication. That's why we hold until 300 meters to get a good indication of what's actually happening. So now we have a field goal there. Just want to keep track of what the ship is doing there. So we're still drifting with the current. He's still fighting the wind. I think Mike should be able to hold that back there.
So far, so good.
Okay, nav bridge, I've just reduced power to the jet pump to 50% because we're doing 0.8 of a knot at the moment.
Copy. So at this moment, we got the two tuggers that are pulling in Argus, the A-frame's bringing it in, and Herc's acting as a third tag line. So all of those, obviously the swell's kind of messing with that a bit, but that's kind of keeping Argus hopefully in a good spot that it's not flying all around. And then the winch operator and A-frame operator are bringing Argus in and kind of dragging it along the deck to stabilize.
Okay, Argus is on deck. We're securing now.
Copy.
Nav bridge, do you want us to go into position holding for Argus over, or for Herc over?
Negative, we'll maintain our current situation. Thank you.
Maintain as is, okay.
Turning off.
Yeah, this is looking really good back here.
Thanks, Tips.
Does Michael have anything to say on deck? How about
Michael,
Dan?
Kylie? Yeah, what he said.
Give a guy a radio, you know? This is the favorite pastime of ripping our colleagues as we recover.
Everybody's a muppet.
You guys are the worst when it comes to the daisy chain, too.
Oh, yeah. No one has the right form of
Nope.
figure eighting or, yeah.
That's why I won't go near figure eighting. You guys are all over it.
You could do auto center on the ship, and that'll help you out because we no longer have Hercules in play. There we go. Oh, now they're rock'em sock'em robots.
Who's that? Is that Tammy or Nicole?
That's Tammy, I think.
Tammy?
She's got excellent form. She's
Yeah,
almost as good as I am at it.
Personal trainer.
Yeah.
Cardio workout.
No, but she's good. The rope's not slipping.
Yeah. Still happy back there, Mike?
Yep.
Okay, good.